Harper and Harper Audio present Man and Waffles, The Dire Deeds of Dr. Gargo by Steve Behling, performed by Maxwell Glick. For Nina, who loves a good road trip. For Pat Hicks, my supportive and fun high school art teacher, who's also from Maine. Hey, you, the person holding this book. Read this before you read the other stuff. It was midnight on Screaming Skull Mountain, and something sinister stirred within the walls of Castle Wacula. Deep within the ruins, a tall, stocky figure in a lab coat emerged from the shadows. He saw piles of purple dust on the ground, and instantly he knew what had happened. "Do not worry, my friends," the man in the lab coat said. "Your sacrifice has not been in vain. Soon you will be reawakened, and you shall join my ranks as we make this world suffer, starting with Wendell Wyler." Behind him, an ominous shadow played on the wall, and a moment later, a large floating gob of sickly pink pulsing tissue appeared next to the man. The brain that lived. "It must still be here," the man said. "The notebook stolen by Count Wacula. It will be mine, brain. Find it!" The brain lived, and it lived to obey the man in the lab coat. Snake-like tendrils extended from the brain, flowing out across the cavernous ruins as it probed and prodded every nook and cranny in search of the elusive notebook. "Such power, almost within my grasp," the man in the lab coat said. Soon, there came a crashing sound, and the man turned his head as he watched the brain's tendrils dig through a pile of debris. There were a couple of busted crates and the remains of what appeared to be a wooden duck. And in the middle of it all was a brightly colored box with a handle on the side. "Ingenious as ever, Count Wacula," the man said. "A hiding place only a clown could conjure." The man walked across the dust-covered floor, patting the brain on its frontal lobe as it passed by. "You have done well, my friend," the man said, reaching for the box. Once in his hands, he turned the handle. Tinny music began to play. "Pop Goes the Weasel," to be exact. "How appropriate for what's to come," the man said, a cruel smile playing on his lips. He continued to turn the crank, and the music kept playing. Right as he reached the pop part of the song, the lid burst open, and out came a little puppet version of Count Wacula. Clutched in the puppet's felt hands was a notebook. The notebook. "Mine at last," the man said, taking the notebook into his hands. "Now all that remains is to return to the place of our birth, brain. There, I will find the missing component to complete my revenge. What beautiful mayhem we will make." As the man in the lab coat exited the ruins, he said, "Send word to the others, and let's scatter the measle weasels. For tonight, we leave." And just like that, the man and the brain departed Screaming Skull Mountain and embarked upon a trail that could lead only to disaster. Chapter 1. I had the wildest dream last night. At least I thought I was having the wildest dream. But then I realized that I was just remembering everything that happened over the last few days. That's because the last few days, yeah, they were weird. Like, you have no idea how weird. It all started when my mom, who's a curator for the Museum of Natural History back in New York, sent me to stay with my grandfather for the summer in Shreveport, Maine. While she traveled to Egypt to help the museum catalog a bunch of old stuff, I was going to spend each and every day
Sample complete. Ready to continue?